Okay, let's take some emails.
Hey, if you want to send in an email, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
I can't believe we got it all in.
That's what she said. Or he, I don't care. Or them, I don't, whatever.
Yeah, you're available. All holes open.
Did you ever read that fucking "Am I the Asshole" about no loads refused?
That's
one of the funniest ones ever.
So I was going for the alt version of that effectively, because I'm like it's one of those two, right? Yeah, it's like all holes open or no loads refused. There you go. All right, we got one coming in. Hey, Iron, Wooly, and Patman. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, and I noticed a weird reaction within the community regarding costumes. Sometimes a skin releases and people complain that it's too similar, waste of money, and dev time. For example, people complained that the Insomniac Spidey suit was another boring red and blue suit, or the MCU Moon Knight skin was another white suit with a hooded cape. I
can totally understand that.
My theory is that these people don't really engage with the superhero comic book stuff and are coming from other games like Overwatch. Characters that are original to that game, they can go wild with skins and redesigns, while Rivals is based off of decades of characters with iconic designs and color schemes with slight variations, so those skins are made for fans for those specific versions, like the Insomniac suit.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, shit. There's the Flash Thompson Venom. There's the Space Knight Venom outfit, right? And then there's the new one as well that's like, again, the military look, and it has a little bit more symbiote to it, but they kind of have the similar energy. And I mean, the new one looks a lot cooler. But yeah, these details make a huge difference for years of legacy and you for caring about that. Of course, look at the Spider-Man suits in the Spider-Man game, right? Do you have other examples of things that are like that, I guess, where it's easy to tell apart old fans versus new in their demands? When
you play SVC Chaos and it's got fucking 10 Shotos on there and go, but they're all different, and like, shut up. Put a different type of character in there, you fucking freak.
No.
I don't give a shit that they're all technically different.
Ryo's How Shikoken, you do the extra input and then his regular Shikoken fades out a few steps in front of him.
By the way, I want to respond to the emails, like text particularly, in that I completely understand what they mean by specific comic runs having specific looks, even if they're similar to other looks. I totally agree with the people that you are describing. If you are putting out new costumes for purchase, they should all look different from other existing costumes. Like, there are 400 million Spider-Man costumes. Do not make two that look the same. Even slightly.
I disagree with you there. I think that like there's like legacy shit that's like important that's based on like popularity of a particular thing. I think though you should put them in an order that allows for the most variety, right? So if you want to put your X-Men in their bright yellow and blues, and then you want to get their black leather old movie outfits, and then you want to go with their Days of Future Past outfits, make a rotation where you get the unique and the classics kind of out of the way, so that you don't put two back to back that are too similar, right?
Yeah.
But if you're gonna work in shit that is classic, you're gonna have to eventually get those similar ones in, and I think it's fine. Just space them out.
So I think a really good example of both of these is Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 1 has an incredibly varied selection of classic costumes and a bunch of new ones. And then Spider-Man 2, responding to complaints about the costume selection in Spider-Man 1, put in like every single variation of every movie suit, and it takes up like half of all total costumes, and it's fucking terrible.
So
you have like all the Raimi suits and all the Amazing Spider-Man suits all in a row of like 10, and movie nerds and fucking weirdo go, see, I wanted the one with the slightly different black lattice on the red. I'm like, oh my god, who gives a shit, dude?
Well, they do, right? And the reason why, and the problem is that, like, instead of doing what I just described, they've prioritized the MCU. And so Moon Knight has a new outfit that's like hood and cape, and it's a variation of the default, but it's the one from the show. And so when they have it available, it says Marvel Studios Moon Knight with the show logo, or the cap that looks kind of like Chris, like they have like the slight variations there that they want to push as like the priority. Definitely going for variety and uniqueness, I think is the way forward.
I am of the opinion that on like MOBA rules for costumes, is that recolors should be dirt cheap, minor alterations should be half price, and full scale complete model reworks should be full price. So when I see Moon Knight from the MCU, which is really similar to his default, that thing should cost like $2.
So you know what's interesting? What you're describing is essentially the difference between colors and costumes in like a fighting game, but we don't do colors in proper hero shooters, right? The costume is the brand, and that's everything. Yeah. But absolutely, there being color variations would be a big deal here. I think as well, at the very least, the more popular the character, the more you're going to see all those little subtle variations. Spider-Man is fucking Spider-Man.
It's
right?
Spider-Man, dude. I don't know if you know, but people care about Spider-Man. I have a big old Spider-Man doll at the house. It's my baby's favorite doll.
Yeah.
He kisses we go, do you want to kiss Spider-Man? And he runs over to his gigantic baby-sized Spider-Man and picks him up and goes, mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bucky's outfits are not going to be as diverse and as numerous as Spider-Man. He's going to get a couple distinct ones. You know?
How many different looks has the Winter Soldier had?
3?
Yeah, here's all 3.
You know? Yeah, so that's just going to be the case for the high-profile characters because there's a ton of money to make there. You know what? If you go to Street Fighter V and look at all those Chun-Li costumes, there's a whole lot of similar overlap in those too.
Yeah, but I need to goon.
I remember one of the mods I saw for DMC5 on PC was we made Dante's coat bright red again. That was it. I'm like, damn. Yeah, okay. Right? I know exactly. I get it. I super get it. I don't, the dark leather is like, I know the realistic look, but don't hate that one. All right, let's take one over here from let's see, no name given. King Plant says, hello, Fortress Ultra Monsters. Was talking to my friends about an MMO we play with terrible acronyms. Combat power, abbreviated to CP, determines your ratioing, which can increase by training your EI resonance points, aka ERP. So you must ERP to get CP. What are the worst acronyms you've heard in games or in general?
CP is the worst.
Completion points in Yakuza are
every
the
single
absolute
game
worst.
Every single game that uses the acronym CP needs to stop.
Extremely unfortunate with that one. But on just a peeve level, I will never not get upset every time I see Fighting EX Layer abbreviated as Fexel. It's the most infuriating thing.
What do you want it to be?
The original game it was based on was called Fighting Layer. All they had to do was call it Fighting Layer EX, and the acronym.
Yeah, you're right. Flex would have been awesome. Yeah.
The acronym would have been Flex, but instead it's FEXL.
I'm gonna give a shout out to our boys over at Riot, and that 2XKO is still a god awful name, and launching with a terrible roster is distracting from your god awful name. It's still terrible as fuck.
I have started completing in my brain double cross knockout for copium purposes.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, it's double cross knockout.
I saw an interview in which someone said, well, we want people to call it 2X for short, and it's like, it's already an acronym for a
Street
full title.
Fighter.
Why are you calling it? Why are you short? What the fuck?
Super Turbo Street in Japan is called 2X. Yeah. But that almost made me go, oh, it's deliberate because they're old school fighting game fans and they wanted to hit on that acronym. I think there's a part of it that was like going for that almost. All right, and Proxy Fox says hello.
Oh, hold on. We got somebody who got picked up by Automod for incredibly obvious reasons, because there is a highly customizable model kit girls produced by Koto Bukia, named the Frame Arms Girls.
Oh, dude. Street Fighter Alpha Generations.
Yeah.
When Street Fighter Alpha the movie came out, there was then a second animated movie called Street Fighter Alpha Generations. We saw that and lost our collective shits. for a couple years, actually, because wow,
Yeah.
what a bad idea.
Can't talk about it nowadays.
Don't
But that's the name of it. That's
Call
the name.
that thing. Don't do that. That's bad.
Every time you have ever heard anyone on the Best Friends in the Old videos, or me and you recently, that's described it, we literally always call it Alpha Generations.
Street Fighter Alpha Generations. Yep, the Full Armor Gundam is in fact the Full Armor Gundam.
That's true. It is the Full Armor Gundam every time, every single time.
All right, one over here from Proxy Fox who says, no way, Street Fighter Alpha Generations. Hello, Fort Mediocre Mammal.
It's not a good movie either.
No.
The best part of the movie is when he just beats the fucking shit out of Sakura.
Hadoken beams slicing through Akuma's junk while undead Chinese ghost armies attack.
Yeah, well, you know.
A couple of weeks ago, Pat was talking about wyvern milk as a plotline in Monster Hunter Wilds and how much it sounded like they were talking about super-powered monster jizz. Well, in Japanese, the word for cow milk is gyunyu, right? So that's that's what milk is called in Japan. In Monster Hunter Wilds, the Japanese word for wyvern milk is ryunyu.
Oh, okay.
So it's combining the words for dragon and milk, ryu and new. This innocent pun became something that sounds really gross because there's no way to translate the pun into English.
It sounds like shit in
God
English.
damn it.
All the cutscenes sound gross.
That makes so much sense. It's just a cute little pun. Instead of Gyunyu, it's Ryunyu. Any other...
So this batch of emails is stop using the acronym CP. Stop calling things Street Fighter Alpha Generations, and check what types of milks foreign audiences use in their day-to-day lives.
Or at the very least, find out what milk can mean colloquially or otherwise.
Like, they talk to the translation guys and then how does this sound? And it's the responsibility of translation guy to go, that sounds like shit. You shouldn't call it that in any language.
It just happens to rhyme. That's great. Yeah. That's great. Well, there you go. Yeah. Do you know any other impossible to translate?
Not off the top of my head,
no. That's a good one. Thank you for clarifying. I now understand.
Gotta get that Wylk.
WYLK. I mean, yeah, sure. That
no Wylks refused, man.